Yo guys, we are back after our break and I am joined by more guests. We have got Rosa and Humi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys today?
Good. We got a little lost, but we found our way and we're happy to be here.
Exactly, you're here now and we can continue the show. So earlier we were talking about women's safety and what we can do to help keep them safe and educate men more. Now we're going to focus on a bit more about police brutality and racism. So to start off with, has anyone experienced racism in their life?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. What
Even
do you
when
mean,
you
of
don't
course?
know it, you probably have. You know,
just haven't.
microaggression.
What about you, Mo? You experienced racism?
Plenty of times. Plenty.
You lost count now.
Trust me.
Give us an example.
Started with like nursery, I'll say. Like I was playing off camera where they'll put the black kids on the black background, take a picture. You see the teachers laughing. I remember a lot of things in it. So I remember the teachers are just laughing, say, "Oh, you can't see these lot. What the fuck's happening there?" Trust me. Oh man, it was trust me. It's
I would
mad.
have so told. I would've
You
been
know
like,
what? I didn't say anything. I didn't think much of it at the time. When
Yeah.
you look back, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, even in today's world, where from a black perspective,
Yeah.
like, you get people that touch your hair, so, "Oh, your hair is so exotic," or "What the fuck?" Like Afro, I've never
that's
seen it
the
like that. It's like, come on, man. Social media's around, everything's around. I'm sure you can educate yourself and like learn about different cultures, different people, and just indulge yourself. Yeah.
I know racism all too well, to the point where like it's not even worth speaking about. Like I can remember when we was in school, because I went to quite like a white school, and there was in my maths class we only had 3 black people, and the fact that it was normal where a white girl was saying, "I think all black people should be lynched," and the teachers agreeing. And I just had to sit there and take it. And it was just, it was meant to be normal. It was just meant to be normal. This is South London. This is the real world that we're living in.
They even shame the
Lynched,
school.
you
That's
know?
what-
What teacher was this? What was like,
So KKK.
which girl is this?
But this was just like, that's just one of many examples.
Oh no.
I just thought, okay, cool. That's just one of today's list of racist attacks. But, you know, that was just normal for me, that, and for a lot of other people. But I've experienced so much to the point where I'm just like almost immune to it now. Like to the point where like if people say something racist, I'm just like, you know what? It's not your fault. You should have been educated better, innit?
I have a question for you. Sorry. When did you realize that it was racist? Like, did you know when it was happening as a kid?
I knew on some level it was racism when I was in school, but it wasn't until probably when I got to like maybe sixth form university where I realized this is actually a problem. Because when you're in school, like you're only surrounded by the people you're in with school with, so you don't know any better. And again, because I went to a predominantly white school, it was just like normal for me. So I didn't actually know any different. But yeah, it wasn't until I left school and spoke to other people from outside of the areas and stuff like that that I realized that like this is not cool, this is not normal. Even to a basic level, like Mo said, like when people are examining your hair and thinking it's exotic when really it's our natural hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I probably realized. I mean, I don't know for you guys if you've experienced anything like that, but yeah, for me that was just almost normal.
What's racism like as a female? Because like, we know as a male's perspective. What about a female's perspective?
That's a good question. I feel like I'm gonna use the hair example, right? Because this is my honest truth. For a long time, call me naive, but I was sold by the compliment when people were like, "Oh my God, you changed your hair. It looks so nice. Can I touch it?" I was thinking, yeah, like I look good.
Touch
like,
it, please.
touch it. Yeah, no, I got my hair done. Well, my mum did it. Like I was so with it. So for a long time, I didn't even realize that it was wrong and it was like it wasn't right until I started growing up. And the same for me. I would probably say like around sixth form. College is when I kind of began to like educate myself, because you don't learn about it. You know what I mean? The first time you get exposed to things is probably like year 9 when you do like you learn about Roots and you watch that film and then everybody's, if the teacher's white, everybody stares at the teacher like, "Oh my God."
But I feel like racism is there to an extent where you don't even know it. Like I know you lot of someone in the creative industry, and I know when I speak to some of my creative friends and they're saying like, you know, if they're on a film set and the hairstylist doesn't know about black hair, but you have to be used to that. And I'm like, well, shouldn't she be trained and know how to deal with black hair or afro hair? But they don't actually know these things, but it's so normal to us that we don't even know it's racist. So there's so many stigmas around it. Like it's become normal to an extent, which I think is really sad.
It's extremely sad, and you're correct. It's like things are so subtle that you don't realize, and sometimes you yourself, like as a black person or just an ethnic person, you make up excuses for them. If there's a white hairstylist who doesn't know how to deal with afro hair, you say, yeah, of course, like she's white. Why would she know, or why would he know? But it's like, they're a hairstylist. They should know how to handle all types of hair. So it takes a while to kind of even wrap your head around it yourself as a person of color.
Yeah. Even to the basic level, like just using cocoa butter, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just normal to moisturize, but
Yeah, it's normal. It should be normal to moisturize.
to someone non-ethnic, like that's just like what?
Quite interesting.
Like interesting.
I don't know if you guys ever had that. Like you literally could be wearing any perfume and you walk in and someone will be like, "Oh my gosh, what? You smell so nice. You smell like coconuts. You're wearing cocoa butter." That real story happened to me, and I was not wearing cocoa butter. I was
God. Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
No.
I was gonna say, like, do you ever feel like offended when someone says a remark or a comment that you feel is racist, but like I don't know, it's just there, and you feel like, oh, I should say something to let them know.
Like you said, I've got to a point right now in my life where I just don't care no more. I can't be bothered teaching.
But that's sad though, because
Yeah.
if we let that
It's
continue,
why should I be the one for change?
yeah, but
I don't care.
if we let that
I
continue,
agree
nothing will
with
ever
you.
change.
No, I agree with
Some
you.
people are tired.
Sometimes
Yeah.
talk
Some people
about
are tired.
racism.
It is tiring, but
exhausting.
if we say that, it will never change. It will never change.
never
It will just
change.
continue.
Yeah.
And the young people, the young generation now, they'll have to go through the same thing. And for some of them, it might be too extreme as well. Like you and I can take it, normally okay, but someone else might want to go out and stab someone for it. Like so, it's a big problem in my opinion.
So I had like a recent training session in a job, and the trainer was like this old lady who was, her demographic, she was white, she's English, British, and she wanted to get to know me, so she wanted to do an exercise where we literally find out what things we have in common, and she wanted to find out what I like. So her first question for me to find out what I like, bearing in mind I like fashion, I like music, she said, do you like curry?
excuse me.
She's like, honestly, this is a corporate business. And in the training session, she's asking me to get to know me in the activity. She said, so Humi, do you like curry? And I was like, I did reply. I said, I don't mind curry, but I like music. I like fashion. I like to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like there's other things that I like other than curry. So you literally just asked me if I like curry. And she didn't see anything wrong with what she said. And so at that time I thought, should I say something now? Or should I just like blow it over and just keep going with the flow here with this training session? And I chose not to say anything because I thought, I don't want to wreck this. I don't want to make a bad impression of myself. I don't want to just be pulling out the race card kind of thing. So I was like, let me just get this activity going. And I was just like, I don't mind curry, but I like other things, So it was just annoying because I don't want to seem like I've got a problem and I'm really sensitive, but that is kind of like microaggression. She doesn't see that.
That's the thing, though.
I
And
could
as
see
soon
it
as
was
you
coming from a place
speak
of
out,
innocence as well. Maybe she didn't mean it maliciously, but I was offended.
yeah.
So
As soon as you speak out and everyone thinks you're being aggressive for it, or you're being, I don't know, like you're being too strong-minded about it. Yeah, so it's like you can't win because even if you stay silent, you lose. If you say something, you lose. So it's just like it's such a hard thing to battle.
I read something the other day, and it kind of came from how, like whenever you speak up for yourself as a person of color, that people say, oh my God, you're being really intimidating. And it said, I'm not being intimidating, you're just easily intimidated. And it made me like, it kind of made me think, because it was like, yeah, like if you say something and that makes me feel uncomfortable, and I say, sorry, that made me feel uncomfortable, and then you're like, oh my God, you're being intimidated, like, why is that? Why is me telling you that you've made me feel uncomfortable intimidating?
I'm the one that's finding you intimidating.
Yeah, you're intimidating me. You're making me uncomfortable. I'm just letting you know, because if, just in case, as you were saying, like, if you didn't mean it maliciously, then just apologize and let's move on. Why do you feel the need to stand up? And I feel like it's at that point in a conversation where you realize someone's intentions, because I think sometimes, a lot of the times, people do just say things and they don't really know how bad it is. And it's like, if you pull them up and they just apologize, it's like, okay, fair enough. But when the problem comes when somebody's just being like, oh my gosh, you're intimidating me, you're being aggressive, relax, it was a joke, can't you take a joke? And it's like, whoa, it's not funny.
For like the younger people watching and that, at what point should you say something? Like, if it's a small racist remark or even a big one, like, well, what point should you say something?
For me, it's the word, when I hear the word intimidating, I've heard that so many times over my life, from like just like the end of secondary school, when I start getting a bit taller, throughout college to uni, when all the teachers say, "Oh, you look a bit intimidating."
That's
oh,
crazy.
bloody
What?
hell.
The genes are just coming
Yeah.
through.
'Cause
I'm
There's
just
a lot of
intimidated, I'm just
stereotype when you're
growing.
like a 6 foot black man.
Yeah.
Automatically, you're put in a category of being intimidating and
Yeah.
you know, scary and all those words there. And I
So
feel
I've
like
always thought, why use that word intimidating? Why can't you just use another word? Why intimidating?
Yeah, why not?
You could have just said,
big?
"Look, oh, you look a bit scary." I'd rather that than
That's
fucking intimidating. That's the word that pisses me off a lot.
I think you mean presence. So
Even, no, you know what?
yeah, I saw a cameraman saying he
No, but
thinks our presence
The
can
worst
make a
thing about it
difference.
is the
Scared
the
of.
niceness of the way they use the words. Do you understand? Don't use a nice word when you mean it in a bad way.
Yeah.
I would say for black girls as well, we get a lot of the, "Oh, you're so aggressive.
Yeah.
You're so
I hear that a
angry.
lot,
You have an
yeah.
attitude.
You have an attitude," and I think it's also the way you speak. You can be confident, and they will just shoot you down with like, these words like aggressive, crazy, like mad. What's
You can't
going
win.
on?
Like, you literally can't win.
Do you know what you said about being a girl, like experiencing racism as a girl? So I don't know what it's like for you guys being black girls, but for me, like being a Asian girl, we would hear comments such as like, I'm sure you've heard it. It's comments like, "Oh, you're pretty for a Bengali girl, or you're pretty for an Indian girl. Like, why can't I just be not fucking sexy?
Yeah, just
Like,
pretty,
I
yeah.
swear, sorry, like why can't you just tell me
Yeah.
I'm hot? Like, why do I have to be? Oh, you're good looking, you're cute
Yeah,
for a
yeah, you're
Bengali
good
girl.
enough.
Can't you just compliment me? And then also if you're just talking about, you know, being labeled exotic, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm kind of
It's the
just say
worst.
like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Asian, but just because I'm Asian, you don't have to start saying, "Oh, that's so exotic." Like, people think that's a compliment.
It's not.
into a fetish, innit?
Yeah,
Exactly,
that is, it's
yeah,
like I feel
something
like you're
idealistic,
fetishizing me,
like, it's
and
crazy.
It's weird. It's weird. Like people might disagree with me on that and think, "Oh, just take the compliment. Don't be like that." I struggle to take that compliment, I guess.
It's not really a compliment, is it?
It's a bit backhanded.
Like, I wasn't born in this country, so for me, it's like,
Oh, weren't you?
no.
Where were you born?
Angola.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, you're saying I'm exotic, but I think you're exotic. Like, why? I came here and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like,
These people.
you know, so
yeah.
No, going back to the whole thing where you were talking about you were soaking in the compliments. I was the opposite at that age. Well, when I was little, I realized what an insult was. Maybe I didn't know it was like racism, but I knew I didn't feel comfortable with certain particular comments. I remember like when I was younger, I got my hair done in braids, and this was like primary school. And the dinner lady pulled me aside during playtime. She was like, "Why can I see your scalp? Like, does that not hurt?" And stuff like that contributes to like how you like, you know, how you build your personality and stuff and all that stuff. And I remember there was one girl, she just used to pick on me because I would have like weaves and stuff. Primary school, like I'm 10, 9. Like, "Oh my God, you have horse hair." Like I would go on
Oh my God, I
holiday,
remember
get
that.
my
That's
hair
deep.
done and come
That's
back,
deep.
and it's
That's
like, "Oh,
deep.
your
So
hair
like
is
these
fake."
inches, like-
Listen, no, it's crazy, and I, at that point, I knew what an insult was. I knew, like, I felt uncomfortable. Maybe I didn't know. Okay, it's because I'm black or it's because I'm this or that. But I knew that, like, I don't feel comfortable, and I definitely feel different from the rest of these girls.
Yeah.
And that's probably my first ever memory. And even I remember one time I was in like year 8, and I went to school, and the girl was like, "Oh my God, you smell like your house."
What?
Do you know what I mean though? It's like, so now when I get older, I'm just like, okay, is she trying to say I smell like stew? Do I smell nice? Are you trying to say I smell funny? And it's like all these stuff that I'm picking it up, like I'm picking all this stuff up. I don't see any of it as compliments now. I feel like now I'm standing up for myself though. So with the don't touch my hair, don't touch my hair.
Before you finish that sentence, where are you from?
Go on now.
Why is it when why is it when with like Africans in general, but like I hear a lot of the word, everything is just stew. Like even if it's just like chicken or beef, it's just always stew. And like everything's just
about
stew.
it?
Because
What
everything
about
is
it?
stew.
Everything-
Why
That's
is
the-
everything stew?
But
Stew
what-
is basically
It's a
just
staple.
the sauce that
Exactly.
something is made in. So if
But
you're
I feel like it's just
cooking
everything. Like you just
No,
throw
but it's not
you
all
throw
the same
tomatoes in there
stew.
in a stew. Like it's just
It is,
everything.
though.
It is.
What
Get a
should
little
we call
Maggie in
it?
there, so mate.
What should we call it?
It's just all stew, but like I don't know the difference in it. So it's just when I see stew, I'm like, oh, what kind of stew is it today?
No, but I feel like in this kind, like in England, everything's
Oh,
sauce.
man.
Everything is a sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce.
So in Africa, it's all stew.
Yeah, even Asians, we love like curry is filled with sauce.
We're not
I
gonna
get that. I get
Yeah.
that.
just call
I
it
get
stew.
that.
It's easier.
I get that.
Like I don't know.
So throwing it back to sort of more the police brutality side of things, has anyone been stopped and searched here?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. By a male officer, and I wasn't able to say no because there was no female officers at the scene, the crime scene. It wasn't really a crime scene, but yeah, stopped and searched, and I wasn't allowed to say no to the male officer, so he just searched me. Didn't take the mick or anything, but again, like I tried to say no. I said like I would rather you didn't, but
Yeah.
he said, well, you know, we have to search you, and it's only male officers, so this is the route we have to take. And there was a comment like, we'd prefer if you didn't file us for sexual harassment or anything, so we're clarifying this here.
How old were you?
This literally is like December.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
So I was 23 as I am today. Yeah, I was. He was like, well, I can't let you just decline this because it's not really up to you. We have to search you. So yeah, that's what happened really. And I was just, I didn't feel violated or anything like that, but it's just, I was like, God damn it, like I wish I could say no
Yeah.
to you because I don't want you to. You're a man who I don't know, and if you're a woman, then fair enough, like go ahead. But I would have loved to have the choice to say no, but I was stripped of the choice as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just gonna say on that comment as well though. Is it okay for a male officer to search a woman
No.
person?
No, legally no. So I studied criminology, so I
Right.
actually told him like I know my rights. Okay.
Oh, so they're not allowed to.
No, unless
Why didn't you offer
Oh, they're not
PlayStation?
present.
they have to. Unless I consent,
Right.
then it is. So, but they made me consent. Do you get it?
Yeah,
So they kind of said, no, you can't say no. You have to say yes.
and you felt uncomfortable.
And yeah, because
Yeah.
I was thinking like, what? Like I know I'm allowed to say
Yeah.
no though, and there is no woman officer here to search me.
Oh,
So
that's- yeah.
it was a bit of a interesting situation, but that was the first time I really experienced is that brutality, would you say?
I mean,
It's
harassment.
harassment.
In some
It's
form,
it's
yeah. in some
unwanted
form.
attention, you know. But yeah, then again, according to them, it was necessary, so I didn't really get to say no.
how did you feel in that moment? Like, what was
Yeah.
the feeling?
Yeah, just uncomfortable, I can't lie. Just getting searched by someone and like, you know, the constant pat down for like 30 seconds feels like a really long time, you know, when someone you don't want touching you is touching you. So yeah, just completely like unwanted attention, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. So yeah.
Oh, that's really sad. I mean, most of my stops and searches have just been because like the police will stop me driving a car that I actually own, but they don't believe I own it. So it's
The
just
most? How many have?
I've had it like 4 or 5 times.
That's crazy.
Just because I actually, and the thing is, when they stop me as well, I've had the V5, the MOT and everything in my car, showing them that I own the car, but they don't believe I own it.
That's crazy.
And they have to go through like, oh, you've got to search the boot and all this. I'm like, well, what's the reason? I'm like, well, we just saw you, you know, for, you know, nice
Driving
car,
while
sports
being
car. And I'm like, well, just because it's a sports car, I can't own it.
No, why are you hating?
And the thing is, if I speak out, it then becomes a problem or it's aggressive or something like that. And it's such a lose-lose situation because if I stay silent, it keeps happening. But if I say something, it still keeps happening. Or I get something further, like a caution or something like that. So it's literally a lose-lose situation that something I think needs to be changed, really.
Yeah.
100%. I was stopped once. I was in a car with one of my ex, and
Why not?
he was taking me. He was taking me home, and was in the car, and it was really late. So he was like, "Let me drive you home," and I was like, "Cool." So I live in Essex,
Yep.
and where I live in Essex is predominantly white. So we're driving.
Wait,
and
before you finish that, how do you feel like living in a white area? Like, do you feel comfortable or not comfortable?
it's 50-50, because I feel like you always kind of hope you'll never end up in a situation
Yeah.
that is happening just because of your race. But also I've lived there for a long time,
But do you feel safer in that environment, or somewhere that's like more ethnic, or?
Do I feel safer? I don't feel safer. I feel like, but that comes from me being a woman more so than me being black. Like just me being a woman, I could be anywhere. Like if the lights are off, I'm just like, bro. If it's dark, I'm like, bro.
I mean, we were speaking about it earlier, but like, what kind of things make you, as a woman, feel uncomfortable? Like
everything. I just feel like in public more so. It's like when a group of guys, like walking past a group of guys, is the most intimidating thing ever. Like I literally take out my phone and pretend to be typing.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone knows.
The thing is though, I fully get that. Like you might feel uncomfortable, but as a guy, like it's so hard to not be aware of those things, because if you're in a group, like I don't know any different. So it's like, how can I then improve to make sure you feel safer?
See, I just think it's common sense. Like if you see a woman in public and you don't know her, don't howl at me, don't whistle at me, don't call out to me. And it's just common sense. Like one, it's not respectful. Two, it's where is your decency?
Yeah.
Like what do you think is gonna happen? I always say this when speaking to my friends. I'm like, what do these guys think it's gonna happen? Do you think you're gonna go, oi yeah, no, oi babe,
and she's gonna jump right in?
I'm gonna
Now
say,
you
oh
got
my
a new
god,
girlfriend.
hi, yeah,
My
do you wanna have
Prince
sex with
Charming.
me?
Yeah.
That is never gonna happen. It
Yeah.
doesn't even make logical sense. So just don't do it. It's you look like a fool, and I feel uncomfortable. So I never understand that part of it. I never understand why men choose to kind of like, you know, shout over at you when they see you walking by and stuff. It's like, if you think I'm attractive, thank you, but also
No,
calm
thank
down.
you. Also, no, thank you.
Also, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So definitely walking past a group of guys, or even just being approached by a guy is always intimidating.
Yeah. I mean, what's like for you? What's like the best way for a guy to approach you? There isn't. Don't.
Honestly, it's hard though. Do you know what I mean?
It is hard, because you don't know what's right and what's wrong, really. Like there's such a great area that anything you say could be misconstrued as the wrong thing. That's why I just thrown it back out there. Like, you know, what do you think like a guy should be able to say or not say to you?
Do you know what? One time a guy asked me, he approached me in a bar, and he actually did it really nice. And he literally just said, he was like, hey, look, I'm not trying to like be weird or anything, but I think you're really pretty and I would love to take you out for a drink sometime. Can I have your number? And that was like so sweet. And I was like, oh,
that
I
sounds
said
cute.
no, obviously.
But I mean, we kind of touched on this. We kind of touched on this earlier. But for you, yeah, that's sweet. But a lot of, well, not a lot, but some other girls might think, I want a guy who's a bit more bolder, who's a bit more braver, who can put me in my place, who's a bit more aggressive.
Off the street.
And it's, yeah, but might not like it, but
street,
yeah.
Like in a club or in
And
a
that's
bar or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Different
saying.
scenario.
It's such a great area, because some girls actually want that kind of aggressive, or in a blacked out coupe, or who's 6 foot tall, or he's got millions or whatever. So
Maybe
like,
that,
where
but
do
not
you?
harassment. Nobody asks.
It
for
needs to
harassment.
start off
Even-
from
Yeah.
like a comfortable
But
setting.
I mean, obviously for you guys, but like, where do we draw the line for everyone? Because it's such a great area. Like, where do
Not
we draw
to
the
be
line?
rude, but I just feel like any girl who wants to be approached in an aggressive or a bold way by a guy probably has some work to do on themselves.
Yeah.
Why do you want
Daddy
why do you
issues.
want
Daddy
Yeah,
issues.
I was gonna
Maybe
say
it
that.
could be mummy issues. No, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It's like issues nonetheless.
I'm not gonna name names, but I think it was I think it was a year or two, and I read a screenshot from a friend, from a girl, who literally said something along the lines of, "Oh, I want a guy to put me in my place and say, look, bitch, you gotta do what I say, otherwise I'm not fucking with you." And she's like, "Yes, Sadie, that's what I want." And I was like, "Is this what girls are on? Is this what girls are on?"
Yeah.
Zaddy. You don't want a guy, you want a dad. Okay, right.
Daddy is true.
Let's unpack
Daddy
that. Unpack the trauma, please.
Yeah,
That's
for
what I'm
real.
saying. And I think I was speaking to Mo and Lorraine earlier about this, but like, it's such a great area, because for you and I, it's you know, it's a no go, but some girls out there actually like it or enjoy it. So it's like, where do we draw the line? Because if as a guy, your goal when you're going out or whatever to the clubs is you want to draw a girl, and it's like, where do you then draw the line?
I think guys should change their goals. That's really stupid to go out and go and get a girl. Why should that be your intention? I think that's really mad though.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not going out to have a good time? Why is it you need to go out and make sure
People
you
see that as a
catch
good
fish?
time, though.
Yeah, that's part of
Yeah.
it.
Why is it? But
Some
why is
some
it?
But why
guys.
is
No,
it
I've
grabbing
heard.
No, but
I've
for
heard
example,
boys
if
say-
someone just got like they came out of a relationship, for example,
Yeah.
and they just want a rebound, just a fling, something quick,
Something quick, like a
easy.
quick thing, like a
Something
quick draw in it. Like
consensual.
it gets
Yeah.
to 3 AM, you're like, oh fuck, I ain't got
Dying
no
over
options. I
there.
need something else.
Dying of laughter. Listen, no, but I get what it's true because some guys, I've heard some male friends of mine even say, I'm sad, like sorry to admit it, but I've heard some of my male friends say it's not a good night out unless we chirps at least one thing.
But that is the aim.
And I'm
That's,
just like,
no,
you
but,
know
no, but deep
what?
what you've just said, yeah. That is, if you're a single guy, that is your aim on a night out. If you're going to a
Yeah.
club, you're like, fuck, I need to get something,
Yeah. And
someone.
that's them being
Yeah,
honest.
but there's,
do you know what I
there's
mean?
a difference between that flirting with a girl and harassment. though.
Yeah,
yeah,
straight.
obviously
Yeah,
there is
of course.
there is
But
there is a
you know,
difference,
that
but
line,
I feel
think-
like the harassment is born out of like the desperation when they
Desperation.
can't
The
flirt.
intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
game.
The
Like you
desperation,
said,
when
yeah.
there's no
3
game.
a.m. is coming round and the DJ's like last drinks. And you're like,
in the DJ's like last drinks, like all my guys are pulled, like oh I'm just on my own.
Or when they're
Like-
lingering outside the club. Oh,
Oh
Just
yeah,
looking
yeah,
around,
yeah. Watching all
yeah.
the hotties walk out.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's such a great area. Like it's really important for us to decide or kind of help choose where that line is because
think a lot
if
of-
you don't know, then it's really difficult.
I think a lot of it is literally down to common sense. I
Yeah.
can't lie. It depends on the environment. There's a place and a time. Literally, that's all it's down to. There's a place and a time. If it's in an alleyway, I'm walking home, and you're with your friends, and I know you don't mean any harm. I know you don't mean any harm. Everyone's just chilling, having their vibe, yeah. But as me on my own, I'm sure even if you, as a male, you're walking past them, you wouldn't like it either if these scallywags were like coming up to you, chatting to you. So whether you're a boy or a girl, if you're a human being, you wouldn't want to be approached by some random strangers in an abrupt manner.
Yep.
Whether you're a boy or a girl, it's literally just down to common sense, I think. And there's a time and a place to move to someone, and I'll have it. You can always flirt with me, but just make sure it's not in an alleyway. Like, can we just like and don't be too dominant or whatever the hell you think it is that I want. Like, no, thank you. Just get to know me first, and then we'll see who wants to be the submissive one and who wants to be the dominant one.
No.
But that all comes with getting to know someone. Like
agree.
I wouldn't want a guy to approach me straight up dominant as
Yeah.
hell. Like, I'll probably tell you to F off.
No, unfortunately, we are out of time, but I'd like to thank my guests, Mohammed to my left. Say something.
Hello.
Lorraine over here.
hello, people.
Humi as well,
Hey.
and Rosa.
it's been a pleasure.
And me, myself, Cam. Thanks for watching. That's been Chats with Cam podcast, and we will be back again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be
Run
back.
that shit.
Run it
that
up.
Socials all
Run it
below.
up.
Trust me.
Socials
Hey, get
all
some
there.
promotions as well, bro.
But yeah,
Come on, Donna. I
shout
can
out to
see
the
you.
sponsors who are
Hey,
still
come on.
pending. But yeah, thank you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Peace out.
Peace.